Hi, my name is Sam Landon, and my bizarre tourism project is on the negative impacts of extreme tourism or the dark side of extreme tourism. Basically, extreme tourism is a form of tourism where people partake in dangerous and risky activities. Sometimes the risk or danger is because of the environment, the dangerous places that they're taking place in. Sometimes it's a cliff or a mountain, or the weather there can sometimes be dangerous, and sometimes the activity in itself is dangerous, such as skydiving or bungee jumping or cliff jumping. Um, as it says in the encyclopedia article on extreme tourism by Picken, often the extreme of extreme tourism refers to the location of the tourism in some wilderness areas, for example, but it also depends on how well supportive the tourist is in this environment by the industry. This can mean safety measures put in place by the people that are conducting the activity, or just the general safety measures put in place in the environment. And then the picture on this slide is a picture of the Titanic incident that happened in 2023, where 5 people passed away due to the implosion of the submersible. And they are putting measures in place to attempt to make another journey with a similar submersible to the Titanic, which is just another form. It's an example of the dangers of extreme tourism and how some people can lose their lives to it. As extreme tourism is becoming more popular, it is quite dangerous for both tourists and local communities, and it harms the culture and the environment, even if it brings in some money. Sometimes the cultures and the societies that are hosting the dangerous activity do get paid because people are staying there, people are paying to partake in those activities, which can help them, but it does not change the fact that the activities are dangerous and it affects the environments and the communities overall. Some of the negative impacts of extreme tourism that are stated in the article, How to Be a Better Tourist and Not Annoy Locals by Michelle Singletary, is that the communities and the environments are impacted by extreme tourism. It may raise the cost of living, and damage the ecosystems. A lot of places that have extreme tourism activities, such as Mount Everest, other mountains, cliff jumping, places like that, are places in nature that are taken advantage of and sometimes can be damaged the more people go there. And as people come to these places and they become more popular, the cost of living there is raised for the people that already lived there because they're becoming more popular. Extreme tourism is also dangerous to the participants. It poses a threat to the well-being of the people partaking. No matter how many safety measures are put in place, no matter how safe they state it may be, if it is a dangerous activity, there's always a chance of someone getting hurt or losing their life. And it takes advantage of the cultures and the communities for personal gain. A lot of the people that participate in extreme tourism are those on the wealthy side. Um, and as they go to these places that are not as popular, that maybe aren't as inhabited as much, it can take advantage of the places, of the people that were there before we came, and take advantage of the lives that they have there for our own personal gain of the adrenaline rush or just the excitement of partaking in a dangerous activity. Some other examples that of people getting hurt or losing their lives from extreme tourism is, as I was saying before, the Titanic incident. From the article by Sanchez and Hurley, it says authorities concluded the vessel had suffered a catastrophic implosion, a sudden inward collapse caused by immense pressure. Even though millions and millions of dollars were put into the submersible, that was safety checked, there were safety measures, everyone in there knew what they were doing, they still lost their lives, which just goes to show that no matter how much money is put in, no matter how much training people can have, if it is a dangerous activity, there's always a chance that something can go wrong. Especially if it's something like this, where they are so deep under the sea that not many people can get to them to help them, which is what happened in this situation. Some other examples in the article from a website called Jalopnik, there is some examples of people who have lost their lives due to extreme tourism activities. It states a boat touring an underground stretch of the Erie Canal capsized. The trip through the Lockport Cave saw 28 passengers and one crew member fall from the boat when it overturned, with 11 people needing medical treatment and one man dying after the incident, CNN reports. This goes to show that even something as simple as a boat ride, something like that, where they are technically participating in extreme tourism, can go wrong and things can happen where people lose their lives. Another common form of extreme tourism is the trips that people take to Mount Everest, which in the 2023 season, 17 climbers lost their lives on the mountain. And that happens every year. People lose their lives on there. But for some reason, people still continue to go back to Mount Everest because of the thrill that it brings, because of the idea that they could say that they made it up there. But they don't realize how many people actually lose their lives being in places like that. A lot of the arguments that people make for extreme tourism is that they accept that safety is a concern, but there are measures in place to keep people safe. It is also a status boost for those participating. In one of the articles that I researched, it states that the wealthy that participate in extreme tourism activities see it as a status boost if they are able to complete these things and they are able to say that they did these things. They get bragging rights and stuff like that to be able to see themselves as higher than other people for participating in those activities. But even though, as I was saying before, there are safety measures put in place, many of the activities are still dangerous. As was seen in the Titanic incident, they put millions of dollars into it. They had experts working on it, and people still lost their lives. So it goes to show that no matter how safe they can say it is, no matter how many measures put in place, if it is still an activity that has the chance of someone passing away, it is bound to happen the more that those things happen. The argument that people make for extreme tourism also does not cover the idea that extreme tourism harms the communities and takes advantage of cultures there. Many people, even if they're not participating in extreme tourism, can take advantage of the cultures there and be rude to them. In the article, How to Be a Better Tourist and Not Annoy Locals by Singletary, she states ways to be a better tourist and be kind to those that you come across in those communities. That way, you aren't harming the environments, even though tourism in itself, especially extreme tourism, usually affects those communities and cultures negatively. Overall, extreme tourism is harmful for many reasons that we went over, and there are many ways that it affects cultures, communities, and the environment, while it is also dangerous to the participants who are participating in these activities. And what you can do to help diminish the effects of extreme tourism is to be informed. Everything that I talked about in this presentation is important to know going into something like this. As humans, we strive for an adrenaline rush. We strive to be stimulated all of the time. And it is fun to do dangerous things, but you have to know the risks of what you are planning on participating in. If you are doing something that has a chance of harming you, harming someone around you, or even passing away, then it might not be the best thing to do. And besides even the idea that you could harm yourself or someone else, there's also you need to take into account the harm that it puts on the communities and the cultures and the environment in itself as you do these things. The image on here shows the number of deaths on many famous mountains, and the numbers are very high. And it just goes to show that while maybe the amount of people who attempted these expeditions is way higher than the amount of people who passed away, it still shows that people pass away. And if you choose to participate in these activities, there is a chance that you may not make it out alive.